What really happened behind the scenes until Taehyung finally broke his silence? The question immediately filled the comment space as soon as his Weverse post appeared without warning. After several days of no news, no updates, no clues, Taehyung suddenly shows up with a message that triggers more questions than answers. And in the midst of the uproar, Jungkook's reaction was the most unexpected. A reaction that left ARMY speechless. At first, it was just an ordinary notification. Taehyung posted on Weverse. But for the ARMY, the notification felt like a bang. Taehyung wrote short, emotional sentences and seemed full of hidden meaning. Many thought he would give a light update or just say hello, but the opposite happened. The tone of the message was soft, but something felt different, as if he was trying to calm someone down, or maybe himself. And when the atmosphere is already emotional enough, that's where the most surprising part happens. Jungkook, who usually prefers his silent palette to public comments, suddenly appeared. Without exaggerated emojis, without the usual jokes, he replied to Taehyung's message with very short but intense words. Words that made the ARMY speechless, transfixed, and some even admitted goosebumps. Many wondered, what does Jungkook mean? Why is his reaction like that? What is there between them? Jungkook's comments sounded very careful, like he chose every word with precision. Not excessive, but full of meaning, as if he wanted to show something without actually saying it. The ARMY was immediately divided. Some were touched, some were more suspicious, some were more emotional. What makes the atmosphere even more dramatic is the time of Jungkook's appearance. It came not long after Taehyung uploaded his message, as if he immediately read, immediately knew, and immediately felt the need to respond. The ARMY believes the spontaneous reaction was not accidental. Some called it a form of concern, some called it a signal, some said that Jungkook probably already knew what Taehyung was feeling before the ARMY even realized it. Within minutes, the topic was peaking on multiple platforms. Everyone talks about the dynamics of two members who are known to have a unique and unpredictable relationship. And although there was no further explanation of the two, one thing was clear. The brief interaction left a huge effect, bigger than anyone could have imagined. Clearly, that brief moment has been one of the most emotional and enigmatic interactions to ever happen in Weverse. And the ARMY? Still speechless, still looking for answers, and still hoping for something more than just two sentences to shake up that worldwide fandom. As the night wore on and Weverse began to slow down, ARMY realized something that made the atmosphere even more tense. Taehyung wasn't re-uploading anything. No additional explanations, no clarifications, no follow-up comments, just that one post. But it was precisely his absence after writing the emotional message that made many fans feel that he was indeed experiencing something that he did not want to fully express. Jungkook remained silent after his brief comments. No follow-ups, no additional emojis, no other interactions. Total silence. As if he had already said what he needed to say, and the rest he let the ARMY interpret itself. This reaction only further reinforces the notion that their interaction is not just an ordinary light conversation. There is a depth that is difficult to ignore. Some ARMY tried to calm the fandom by saying that maybe the two were just being subtly supportive of each other. However, others felt that there was a tone of concern, as if Taehyung was going through a tough situation and Jungkook, who probably knew at first, gave a deliberately short response so as not to invite excessive speculation. The most interesting thing is how the ARMY began to compare their previous patterns of interaction. Usually, if one of them posts a slightly emotional message, the other will make a light, funny, or teasing comment. But this time it was different. Jungkook is not kidding. There is no playful tone. There are no typical elements of JK mode on. Instead, he sounded mature, calm, and almost like trying to calm the atmosphere without making things bigger. However, the more the night goes on, the more the ARMY waits. Will Taehyung return? Will Jungkook leave additional comments? Or will one of them appear on another platform to provide clarity? But nothing happened. Silence fell again, leaving millions of fans with feelings that are hard to explain. A mixture of worry, confusion, touch, and curiosity. And when morning comes, what makes it all the more mysterious is how Taehyung's post survives without any edits or deletions. Usually, if he feels his speech is causing confusion, he will correct it. This time, however, he left it as it is. It was as if he wanted the army to feel something, even if he didn't say it directly. As the day rolls on, and the fandom slowly regroups to dissect what happened last night, one thing becomes increasingly clear. Taehyung and Jungkook's interactions in Weverse aren't something to be forgotten. Although brief, the moment left an emotional resonance that lasted much longer than the message itself. And precisely because the two did not add anything after that, the mystery that remained magnified even more. Then there was Jungkook's reaction. Even if it's just a comment, fans who are familiar with his habits at Weverse know that Jungkook rarely writes something serious in public, except when he really feels the need to do so. And the way he wrote his comments, short, concise, but warm and thoughtful, convinced many ARMY members that he was speaking not as a joking fellow member, but as someone who truly understood Taehyung's situation at the time. But in the midst of all that theory and speculation, there was one ARMY comment that went viral because it was so touching. Sometimes one just needs to say something, not to tell everything, but to make sure that someone is listening. And Jungkook listened. As the day progressed, the interaction caught the attention of Korean and international media. Some outlets began writing articles with question mark headlines, questioning what really happened to this duo famous for their closeness. Although the news added to ARMY's concerns, some fans still tried to think positively. They recalled how Taehyung and Jungkook often showed support for each other without much of a word, and perhaps this is one example.